problem in our league in that we were playing teams like UCF, which is now Josh Heupel at Tennessee, that created a lot of spacing and put predicaments in the defense as far as how wide they were to the sidelines and how effective they were using the vertical RPOs. So we had to kind of adjust our thought process. I think Coach Vic had kind of made the press quarters thing extremely successful up at Ohio State and won national championships doing that. But the new league and the new dynamic and spacing that was being created in the AAC forced us out of our comfort zone to kind of create a defense that was better at spreading us across the field. So what we kind of came up with, or Coach Vic kind of mastermind, was the dollar defense, which created horizontal spacing and vertical spacing within the defense, going to more of a 3-3 stack alignment. So I can kind of talk, through the basics of it. Is that good? Can you see that?
Yeah, the camera's good because it's focusing on you, so it's zooming out. But when you get close, it whitens out. So as long as you stay close to the board, it's good.
Okay. So I'm going to put the field over here, and I'm going to draw America's formation now. Right. So let's start with the 10 pick just to talk about it. So basically, what we were trying to do is put people in these vertical glance windows. So we actually walk the Will and the Mike in the middle, and then a dollar, creating that vertical spacing. So this guy was back at about 7 yards. A field safety here. So showing one high, playing some version of 3 or 1, depending on how you want to play it, with zone calls or gone calls, or however much 3 matchy or man matchy you want it to be. But more importantly, talking about the box and getting a 6-man box, but creating these vertical spacings here that allowed us to be able to play, whether it's the glance of 2 or the bubble slants, and have somebody in these windows that didn't allow just the isolation on number 1. And to do that, we had to slow down the run fits for these outside backers in the 3-3 stack, where in the typical defense, you would play them in 4 eyes and balls would roll out to them pretty quickly. So one of the intricacies that we learned studying other teams that played this kind of 3-man front. Now they did it with more of a quarters-based system, but ours was with a man-based system or a cover 3-based system, was to put these in what we call a knockback 5 technique, where they are C to B players capable of closing the B gap or staying in the C gap. And these guys having the depth and width to make people right. And I think that's the uniqueness of how we played them. And then spacing wise, when the Y was to come into the core, right, we were playing more of, like you said, a 3-4 fit with the Will and the Mike, and bringing him into that vertical glance window of the boundary while still being able to be an extra run fitter in what might be seen more of a 3-4 run fit mentality, with these guys still playing B to C or C to B techniques.
Right. So that's your starting point, right? Your 10 personnel picture.
Yes, I would start with the 10 and then going to the 20 picture or any Y in the core.
Okay, we have a light. Oh no, it's back. It got super white for a second and then it's dimmed down, so we're good. I was like, oh God, okay. No, you're good.
Trying to bring the boundary safety into that vertical glance window of the boundary that everybody's running with this RPO action. reading him and trying to have the depth of the fit and sit in the window. Also having a guy at 7 yards on the backside that can break on that glance, and a post player that can break down on the glance. And I think that that's what makes us unique is, in true 3-4 fits, it's very simple reads if you have 4 eyes, right? Now your overhangs have to get down and set immediate edges. So whether you want to call him the boundary safety or the jack or whatever you want to call him, right? Your Will, Mike, and true Sam, if you were in that same look, that vertical glance is very hard to defend. So basically what we were doing was pushing him out and pushing him back so that he can hold the windows off and still trigger in the run fits.
So you're playing with that dollar. You called him the dollar, or did you call him a dime? I know it's dollar defense. Dollar, okay. Some people do that. They're like, this is the dime package, and right here's the dollar. And I'm like, wait, what? So, and this is what we talked about. And guys, I apologize. I have not listened back to the podcast. I listened back to the Patreon to kind of talk about this. So I don't remember what was talked about, and what's made it even harder is that I'm not even talking to the same person. It's the same subject, but it was 2 different people. So I'm going to actually kind of go back. I don't want to assume that anybody remembers. I mean, hell, I recorded the podcast and I don't remember. But I kind of alluded to it. So what makes this very unique is it is a true. So we had somebody on last night. Let me back up. We had somebody on last night, my old boss, Brandon Lechtenberg, and they played 3 high safeties. And it was a 1 linebacker box if it was 2x2. And then if it was 3x1, it was a 2 linebacker box, which seems to be something that is a common thread. Iowa State, who kind of kicked this, and I know other people did it, but they really kicked this into overdrive, and it was 2018 or 20, I think it was 2018. But with you guys and you having a nickel and a dollar, so you have 2 DBs, and everybody's like, okay, when like last night when Lech did his presentation, it was okay, this is where he starts and then this is where he ends. That guy's starting in the same place. He's down, right? He is
the dollar.
Yeah. He is a DB type, and he is playing as one of the linebackers.
And this is a good question, because I even see in the Q&A somebody asking, like, what's the dollar reading? So in this coverage, right, this is a man-based coverage. So he has no man responsibility except for something out of the core, right? He's not covering 3 or helping with the nickel in any which way. He's got the back out of the core. If there was a tight end to his side, he might have him. So he's going to read whatever you would read in your own man system. So for us, it's back through the line or whatever. But the reason you do it on the DB is for the change-up coverages, so that he can be, say, a middle runner in cover 2, or he can even run to a deep half in cover 2, or he could, play quarters and drop over 2, with the nickel being your traditional Sam or inverted or however you want to do it. So the flexibility of the position is for the zone coverages, but he's just playing a traditional 3-3 stack outside backer, just doing it from a deeper distance so that he can be in the glance windows and force people to take away that vertical space